Alright guys, so I'm just going to quickly talk about my list that we're taking to the Lair of the Dragon event. So we're going, me and Lee are going at the weekend up to Cardiff. It's a 400 point event. There's 7 games over 2 days, so it's a lot of middle earth SBG. As you can see on the screen, I'm taking 2 lists, I'm taking a good and an evil list. So my good list is the Paths of the Druidan Legendary Legion. Theoden is my leader. He's got with him 10 Warg Riders. So we've got 5 with Throwing Spear and then 5 normal. They've all got axes as their hand weapon of choice, because axes are the superior hand weapon for Riders around. Then I've got Garnbury Garn and 15 Moses, like you have to have. So in total I've got like 16 blowpipes, 10 bows, 5 throwing spears, like an awful lot of ranged output. And yeah, they get advantages to heroic move roll-offs, so they win heroic move roll-offs on a 3 up instead of a 4 up, and they I can chuck down some objective markers basically, and it means I can move through difficult terrain without any penalties. So yeah, should be quite good, should be useful. They also get army wide reroll 1s to wound orcs, urukai, and goblins to try and take them, because the woes have a natural hatred of them as well, so they get +1 and reroll 1s. That's all in combat. So I mean, they're pretty squishy, but they should also put some hurt out on them. And then my evil army, just going to slide you across here. I have got Shaku's Legion, which is the Wolves of Isengard. So I've got Shaku in the middle here. He's obviously on his Warg. He's got a shield as well. He's got with him 8 Warg Riders with throwing spears and shields. Then I've got this guy. He is my Warg Rider captain. He's got with him, he's got an axe, which is a pick, because he can have a pick or a sword. So he's got a pick and a shield, and he's got 7 Warg Riders, 4 of which have throwing spears, and 3 of them have just nothing extra. They've all got shields as well. And then I've got the Shaman here, and then he's got himself just a Warg, obviously, and then 6 Warg Riders with shields and bows, because YOLO. Gotta have some bows, right? This Legion, they can make, they can do like a D6 models can move before the first turn. So I can move and shoot, before the first turn. And then I get on, there's like a whole load of bonuses to Maelstrom, so they can kind of they can choose who gets first turn in Maelstrom, and then they can still charge on first turn in Maelstrom. So basically I can let you come in first turn and I can charge in your bum, which sounds pretty spicy, so hopefully it'll be pretty good. I know we're normally only going to get it on 1 Maelstrom mission, but you know, that should be in theory like 1 good win. So because it's devastating, and we practiced it, it is brutal. We've done right. So yeah, that's my 2 lists. 7 games, hoping to go kind of like minimum of like 3 or 4 wins, because I always try to go like 50-50 or so when I go to these events, and sometimes I do better and occasionally I do worse. I mean, whenever we play local, I just kind of take like some random lists to like mix up the, like, you always get these like local metas, and I was like just try to take something random that I've never used before and like try and mix it up. Whereas when we go to these big ones, I normally take something fairly, but I've used a fair bit. However, for this one, I've just decided to go mad and take this army, which I painted yesterday, and got it ready, and then the Paths of Druidan, both of which I've used once ever before. Basically, I'm aiming for Into the West, which is the like bigger version of this, which is coming next month. I'm just going to try these and get like loads of games up with these guys and see how we do. So just give you one last little look at these guys, and then hopefully Lee is going to send me a little video with him showing off his army, and we'll show you, and then we'll talk to you about the event and how it's going. So yeah, that's my dudes. I do really like the woes, they're quite fun. And yeah, some of the Warg Rider units have got like Rohan shields and spears and stuff, as if they've been like fighting the Rohan for a long time. And the shaman here has got a nice like Royal Guard cloak that I've pinched. So yeah, or I deliberately did that so they look kind of cute together. But yeah, they're my lists. I'll see you later.
Okay, so this is my army that you've all seen before. We've got Thor with Arkenstone and Ring of Durin. So Ring of Durin once per game, priority reroll. Arkenstone pass, fate on a 3 up. 4 up, you get it back. You can might that as well. And then in this warband we've got 12 hammers with Guiding the King upgrade. Captain with a shield, so defense 8. 12 warriors with spears and shields. So my first ever Lord of the Rings event, like travelling not locally. So I just wanted something that wouldn't die quickly, just to give myself as much chance of just like not getting smashed each and every game as humanly possible. Because like I said, first one, and like as Tom's aware of, like, there was some really good players playing. Well, gonna play. So I was just didn't want to get smashed. So that's why I took the dwarfs. Got dwarfs, and I've used them before. The list kind of builds itself. So yeah, we went with that. So hopefully I'll just win. The aim is to not get smashed every game and win one. That would be good, and anything else more than that would just be insane. But I'm aiming for 1, and I'd be happy with 1 win. If I do get smashed every game, it is what it is. But as long as it's not, I just don't want to like 12-0, 12-0, 12-0. So yeah, hopefully I can get 1 win is what I'm aiming for. That's my list. Nothing too fancy. I only took 1 list. Excuse me. I have no evil army as of yet. I did have all my goblins. I sold them all. I just didn't vibe with them, so I only brought my one army. We are going to be going into the west, I think, which is basically exactly the same event. For that, I think I'm going to try and get an evil army painted and done, because I have a feeling playing the same army all weekend might be a bit of a drag. I have a theory that day 2 I'm going to want to play something different, so we'll see if that is true or not. Hopefully it's not, because that's all I've got today. So yeah, fingers crossed don't get smashed every game. So yeah, wish me luck. Bye.
You're right, guys. We have finished day 1 of the tournament. We've just played 4 games, so 6 hours of Middle Earth SVG. Lee's a little bit tired, bless him. Look at him. It's like bringing, you know, when you take your kid out for the day.
I'm older than you.
He's just knackered. Look at him, bless him. So we played 4 games. We've got another couple of games tomorrow, which is good. I think we both, could do with a couple more games, but we're getting there. So should we rattle through how the games went? With game 1. How was your? I'll do my game 1 first.
So the best still there.
So you've obviously seen our list before. So I'm playing good versus evil the whole way through. Lee's just using his 1 list. Scrub. In my game 1, I was playing against a nice chap called Scott. Scott had he had Harrod, so he had Suladan and Raza as his heroes. 2 of my favourite heroes. Like, this is really bad for me because I was like, we played the game the other day, and it was your I was playing with Rohan. It's like you shooting yourself, like it's like you're fighting yourself. That's me with Harrod, man. I love Harrod. Scenario was Contest Champions. Should probably said that. Contest Champions, which is one where it's all about your leader kills.
We don't.
We don't like this one. So anyway, playing against Harrod. So he's got Suladan. I'm using my good army then. So I've got my Path and Druidan. So I've got Theoden and Garmuri Garn as my 2 heroes, but Theoden is trying to outkill Suladan. And in theory, I'm like, oh, this is great because he's got soft squishy models, and I'm like, oh, so are all of mine.
So are yours.
So are all of mine. And they're not orcs and Urukai and stuff, so I don't get my bonuses from the pass, which is a bit irritating. There was a massive rock just by the middle. So what I did was I put all my Rohan horses out in a line with Theoden kind of tucked away a little bit. But I left the gaps so Theoden can get through. And then put all of my woes on top of this big old rock. So I see it, I was like, Suladan can't get up onto that rock to kill him. so that takes away all the soft squishy kills from him. We did the standard constant champions heroic move roll off, and I was like, oh, this is great. I win heroic move roll offs on a 3+. I lost it, rolled a 1, so that was good. Yeah, standard. Turned out like Harrod basically just murked me turn 1. I lost like all but 2 riders of Rohan turn 1. Yeah, it was real grim, real quick. Scott did a clever, and what he did was he dismounted his Suladan and then climbed up onto my rock. And I had 2 choices. I either ran away off the rock or just chucked bodies at him and hoped I could like kill him. I didn't kill him. No. I tried to throw dudes at him, and I mean we beat him in combat a couple of turns, but we just couldn't kill him, and he just sat there and beat it up woes. So in the end he had 6 kills. Theoden was rocking himself out at the bottom, but again Scott was using his big brain, and he was shooting into the combats because he was Raj, but deliberately like killing his own dude. So the whole time I was there like, just not getting anywhere. Like Theoden did 2 heroic moves in that game, and neither of them actually got to do a heroic move. Wow. Yeah, it was good.
Great.
That's about how that game went for me. So Theoden only killed 2 guys in the end, so it ended up being a 9-0 to him. So great start to this event for me. 9-0 loss just to start things off the right way. How did your game 1 go?
Yeah, game 1 against Aleister King.
Yeah, who's he? Never heard of him.
No, some guy got a thing about dwarfs, I think. So it was ironic. I chatted to him in the Discord a couple of days before, and I was like, I've got 2 dwarf lists. What does people think about it? And he's like, you should go with the list I've got today, which is Army of Thrall. He's like, I played that exact list before, and it's solid. I was like, okay. So I chose it because first event, I didn't want to like play like a super more like glass cannon-y build, so I just wanted to like spam dwarfs. So you've seen this before, and like loads of high defense. So in theory, I'm going to be harder to kill. There's like 26 dwarfs, 24 warriors, and a Thor and a captain. So I ended up winning the game 9-1.
Alright.
Shocked.
Oh, against the guy who taught you everything you know about dwarves.
Yeah, I know, right?
Your little personal mentor.
I've watched his videos before when he talks about dwarves. So, yeah, Contest of Champions. So he was using Theodred's Legendary Legion.
Yeah, Theodred's Guard.
Theodred's Guard, that's it. There's a couple of that in the room, actually.
There's so much Rohan in this event.
There is a lot of Rohan.
So much Rohan.
But yeah, I deployed straight up in the middle. Had a nice little hole for Thrall to move in and out of. Then he chucked his line, but then he chucked Elfhelm right at the front.
Yeah.
Literally on our own. But he did it in such a way that he made a little mistake. So he had Elfhelm in the middle, but then he had like dudes just behind Elfhelm, and he had one just a little bit too far over, which meant Elfhelm was actually trapped, couldn't back away. So I chucked Thrall and like 2 Grimhammers, I think, was into her. So I had priority.
You know Elfhelm's a dude, right?
I know, I always say her.
That's because Durnhelm, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. But I had priority, and we didn't contest the hero move.
Okay.
It was quite nice.
That's nice.
So yeah, I was shocked about that.
What a treat!
I know.
I wish someone would do that for me.
I know. But he had riders on the back and things. He didn't really need it. But so he heroic defense with Elfhelm, and then I just naturally rolled 4 6s.
Whoa.
And outright killed it.
Dirty.
Or killed him. It was either 4 or 3. He might have rolled. I'm sure I just rolled 4 and just outright killed him, which was insane. Shouldn't really happen, but it did. But that meant he lost 3 might off the board.
Yeah.
Which put him quite far behind. And then I got a couple of kills with throwing axes. Who knew? Against his Royal Guard, no less. I think I had 3, and he had like all throwing spears. And he could have single thing all game. So I was quite sitting pretty, and then he like moved backwards, which was like, what are you doing that for? And I was like, why are you moving back?
Yeah.
But it was literally just to try and bait me into charging Thrall forwards, which I did.
Yeah.
And then he managed to like trap Thrall the following turn, and Thrall only lived because I passed 2 Arkenstone rolls on a 4-up to get my payback.
Arkenstone things are nuts.
Yeah, so I ended up just taking 2 wounds rather than the full 3. But if he'd killed Thrall, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But it would have just been like a 9 3-win to me.
Yeah, it's to get him a better differential, isn't
Exactly,
it?
yeah.
Tiebreakers and stuff.
But yeah, that was how that game went. Pretty just like a slugfest in the middle.
Yeah.
And the dwarves.
It's Contest Champions. It's always just a slugfest in the middle.
Yeah.
Like
So Thor actually was a beast. He won heroic combats and he ended up killing 6 dudes.
Nice.
I think Fairtrade only killed 1, maybe 2. So yeah, that was how my game 1 went. What a shock.
In my game 2 then, so I've come off my first big kind of loss there. That was spicy. Got a nice chap called Brandon in my game 2. He's got the scenario we did on that one in game 2 was the Command of Battlefield one, so it's 4 table quarters, Maelstrom deployment. He had the Return of the King Legendary Legion, so the Army of the Dead, and I had my Shaku's Wargs, which I was really excited about using on Maelstrom because they get all their bonuses about Maelstrom, because they can like charge turn 1, smash you up because they can charge when they move onto the board. I could also so I can let you have priority, then I can charge you turn 1, which is like so much spice.
Yeah.
Except Armageddon cost Terror.
Yeah.
Courage 2 didn't go very well for me. Yeah, basically, there's not really an awful lot to say.
It's one of those matchups, isn't it? It's pretty much a hard counter.
I failed so many charges. I couldn't do anything.
No.
Basically, I dismounted all my wargs to get the extra bodies so that I could pass some courage tests, and it kind of paid off. I had 2 of the table quarters at the end, but he had the other 2 because some of my guys ran away.
Yeah.
And then that was it really. He broke me. He killed Shaku. He Aragorn heroic combat into him, killed Shaku. So.
Not if you do.
I mean, the problem with that list is it's all fight 4.
Yeah.
At the highest, and there's no strike or anything. So Aragorn just heroic combated straight into Shaku, beat him up, used his might to get the force to kill, because he has the Narsil, Andrew, or whatever it's called in the game. And
Andrew.
GG basically.
Yeah.
So lost that one 8-4. So I'm now on 2 losses, which is it's a rarefied atmosphere for me. Actually, I don't think I've ever been on 2 losses going at the start of the tournament.
No.
It's,
and I was like,
that's not like
that's how I expected me to be going.
Yeah.
And you to be going up top.
And I was like, oh, this is
no. This is
then it was lunchtime, but I was unhappy during lunch.
Yeah, you needed to breathe.
How did your game 2 go?
I can't remember his name. I think it was Zen something.
Oh, Zahir.
Yeah. Really nice guy again. Table quarters. Quite bad for dwarfs. But what made it worse?
Yeah.
Warbands coming on, Maelstrom. I rolled 4 1s in a row for my captain with spear, i.e. the March Warband. 4 1s in a row. The 5th roll was also a 1. So that's 5 in a row, but that one I had to might. Because at that point, I know it doesn't matter coming on straight away, because you can see what's going on.
Yeah.
But when it's 5 turns...
Do you, I forgot. So, my shaman on that warg list, tried to cast his fury.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes did, didn't he? So,
because that would have been massive.
Yeah. If it had gone off, charging him was fine. But no, Snake Eyes on his fit fury. He only got 1 might. Sorry to interject on there.
No, it's fine. That's valid because that was awful.
Yeah, that was game breaking.
That was awful.
It was only because you reminded me because my shaman also he didn't come on first turn either. He rolled a 1 and then it was a bit like bloody hell.
Yeah.
And it's the same with it. Do you think potentially just chucking might at those first couple of dice rolls to get everyone on the table might have been better in hindsight? I know it's one of those where you're like, oh, they just come on next time, and they can't roll the 1 again.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like,
sometimes they do.
Just get him on the table.
Yeah.
You know?
The problem with that was he spent only 1 might and he had his whole warband, the whole army in a corner.
Yeah.
And we had pretty much, I think he had a couple more models than me. So if I did that, chances are he's gonna, because he was in the north and eastern corner, I think it was. No, north and west. So if I'd have done that, he would have put me right in front of his whole army, pretty much no matter where I went. If I'm up by 1 or 2, like he's gonna be bad.
What did he have? What army did he have?
So he had so Mordor. So we had Cardiff, Mouth of Sauron, and Gorbag.
Nice.
And then
Nice.
just dudes
Good
and
heroes.
a banner.
Good heroes.
Yeah, so the heroes were good. So
I was gonna
Cardiff,
say, like, you can come on and then sit in like almost like a little defensive ring, and then just sit there and shield until your friends turn up.
Yeah, but dwarfs have taken a long time.
Yeah, but while he's doing that and trying to kill you, you can, and then the game starts ending.
True.
And then you can like.
True.
Oh, it's 25% now, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, that was a bad one. Cardiff was MVP for him. Like,
always
didn't fail to cast Fireball once. Failed to cast it once all game, and I think every time bar one he killed a dude with it. Just a Grimhammer, not my heroes, just Grimhammer. But like wounding them on 5s as opposed to 6s with a normal dude was massive. So he played that really well. It came down to he had like double in 1 quarter than me, and then I had double in one of his. Then I had more than him on 1, and he had double in like my own one because like I left my centre line a bit too thin, so he managed to break through me. So that came down, and he won 6-5 in the end. But I chucked it away. Because I chucked Fraw into Gorbag. At that point in the game, I didn't need to. I just start just like 1-on-1s with his dudes, and I could tie up Gorbag with Grimhammers and stuff. Chucked him in, lost him. He killed him. So I was punished. So that gave him 2 points.
Yeah.
Whereas if he hadn't have done that, I would have won.
Yeah.
6-4. That was the deciding thing.
I mean,
So
we'll talk about that
fine.
later because I did the exact opposite of that later on.
Right.
Basically.
But yeah, that's how that game went. Lost 6-5.
Lunch was fun. I had some nachos with some like chili and some guacamole and stuff on it. It was lovely. What did you have? Some like
Pulled pork bun.
Yeah,
It's alright.
Yeah, it's alright.
£4 alright, but it was alright.
Mate,
Like
I
us.
looked at it and then I was like, oh, there's no sides.
No.
Ooh, yeah, if I had like a packet of crisps on the sides,
Yeah,
maybe.
it would be perfect.
But yeah, I had a quantity of food is what I went for there. So fed, rested, had a nice break outside, came back.
Which we needed because it was hot.
Oh, it was sticky inside here. Don't know if you could tell from the dishevelled look.
Yeah.
But yeah, game 3. This was basically a gimme for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. we had Isengards. Matt, who was a TO, had to like step in to cover a game, to cover like fill a gap, and the army he had was like just some dudes.
Just a bit dumb.
Well, you never know. It could be
Yeah.
good. But it was just some dudes. It was like Saruman. It was Saruman, Dreamer, what's his like Iron Skin or whatever, Iron Hide.
Yeah, Ironhide. That's it.
Malher, and the Oathkeeper.
I mean, it is lads. That is like
Lads.
laddie heroes.
And then just a bunch of like wild lands.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. So I've got a Rohan, which obviously it's actually really annoying because Grima against Theoden just kills Theoden. Like Theoden's gone for the game. Basically, can't do anything.
Yeah.
Which is well annoying.
True.
Saruman ran around, chucked a couple of Sorcerer's Blasts off. Not that they do off horses. Like Saruman's walking around. Theoden's walking around on foot the entire game. Blowpipes murked Malher.
Right.
Yeah, just absolutely shredded him.
5, isn't
Yeah, and then we did a lot of combats where I was like trapping Saruman and trapping Ironhide on that flank, and eventually I got through them with the Wozers, and then the Rise of Rohan cleared up the rest of Dunland.
Yeah.
Sorry, the scenario for that one was the Divide and Conquer one, which is the 3 objectives across the middle, and the middle one's worth loads, and the 2 side ones worth like a little bit, and that's fair. So, yeah, long story short, he had nothing left except Grima at the end. Big point score, it was just a bit like super casual game. Yeah, I was mildly concerned, but that basically meant that I was the worst person there after game 2. But that gave me some points, so it's all right.
It did.
That's put me back to after game 3. I was almost back to positive VP differential.
Yeah.
After my first 2, so it put me in a better mood as well.
Yeah, it did. You were a lot more chipper.
It was real quick as well. It was like
you were finished early.
it's like half an hour.
Yeah.
He just didn't have any models, bless him.
No.
And wasn't. who knows how hard he was trying.
Yeah.
Only he knows.
Yeah.
But also his dice rolls were atrocious. He was
Yeah.
like, he had Ironhide in there and was like, hey, here's 3 dice. There's 3 ones.
We get TO in like that, it's hard, isn't it?
Well,
yeah, you don't care, do you?
like,
You're
just-
there for the
yeah.
numbers, I'd imagine. I don't know. But
We had a good chat, basically. We
Yeah.
had a good chat
We had a
and
good
we threw
giggle.
some dice. Like, yeah.
yeah, the dice was a plus.
Your game 3 then, a little bit more important, I
Oh,
guess.
I mean, like completely different to
You're
yours.
2-0. No, you're not. You're 1-1.
I was 1-1,
One-on-one goes
and I
first.
think obviously the other guy was as well. And yeah, we both wanted to try and springboard forwards at that point, and that was my most tense game. That was super tight. It was against hobbits, which I haven't played before. I've bought hobbits before and I've used them once, but a long time ago. And they've got loads of little rules and things.
So there's so many like little
So many
tricks and
little
gimmicks
tricks
and stuff.
Yeah. So then he's like, right, no, I've got no idea. But that was a super close game. So I won that one 4-2. But yeah,
Who was that against?
super close. David Farmer.
Farmer.
Yeah, it was David Farmer.
Cool.
Yeah, nice bloke. Hobbit army looked really nice as well. Yeah, so
Are he's the ones that are kicking around but like really brightly coloured?
I think so.
There was someone on the table next to me at one of the games were like really bright, like pinks and yellows and stuff.
Oh, pass. Can't
Okay.
remember. It's been a long day.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
I just stood out. It's one of the few that I've
But yeah, so obviously we're in each corner. So I marched forward on like the right flank, and then I slowly brought up the Grimhammers. His shooting to begin with was terrible. But he needs 6s by 4s. It's not easy, but he was expecting a couple more than he did. And then I was rocking up, hitting on 5s with my throwing axes because I moved, and I killed like 7 hobbits with throwing axes. Not even like charging.
That'll get
me.
you salty, won't it?
Yeah, so that was a bit bad. And then it was basically a scrum just in the middle and just seeing what went where. And then it got really close down to time. We had like 2 minutes left. And the game ended on the first dice roll. And it turned out that was better for me. So he had like double one side, and then neither of us got the other side. And then I had more in the middle, just short of like double. But then I broke him and wasn't broken myself. So it meant I won 4-2. He had 2 for the left, and then I had 3 in the middle. And he had no leader kills or anything. Super close game, like 4-2. Does sound close, but it was really close. There's like 3 models in it, I think, for me in the middle, and I won a crucial heroic move roll off, which then I could bring some models back into the middle that weren't there, because he had a lot more might than I did.
Yeah, you do with hobbits.
But yeah, that was super tight.
Nice. And then game 4. So you're now 2-1.
Yeah.
And I'm 1-2.
Yeah.
I'll go into game 4. I've got Isengard. I'm playing again, so I'm using my row hand list again. And I like this one now because he's actually got a guy. He's got like Lurtz and a whole load of scouts, and he's got Vraska and a whole load of crossbows with some works basically. Real like simple, effective, hard hitting list.
Yeah.
Not a spear in sight though, which is interesting.
Alright.
No spears, no pikes, none of that. Just a whole load of Urukai scouts.
Yeah.
And then it was retrieval, so it's like the capture the flag one out of the new book. So yeah, just got to
I
get
like that
there.
one. It's spicy. That one.
It's quite fun, yeah. Basically, I had a big hill, and he like my feet. So my relic was on top of a hill, and his relic is in the middle of the woods. So the woes thing where like we get to put 3 markers down, and clears the it's no longer difficult terrain because the woes have led the round through. So obviously I took that around, so I can now move through all the woods. That was the biggest thing in that game. Because it meant I could run straight into those woodlands, not lose anything from my cav.
Yeah.
So I put my woes on the hill to defend the relic with all the blowpipes, put the cav out to one flank, and he basically just chucked everything right in the middle and was like, I'm coming straight at you. And I was like, alright, fine.
Yeah.
And then so I marched twice with Phelan, and took basically all the riders around the back, chucked a couple across to head off where it's coming, so I charged into the back and the side of Lurtz's Warbander scouts, got a couple of kills off and just slowed him down a little bit with them because he had to kind of deal with them. And then Phelan just marched a couple of guys across. So we got a guy who got in, dismounted, grabbed the relic, and then next turn he ran and gave it to Phelan. Everyone else formed a bubble around Phelan.
Yeah.
And then on the next turn after that, we just out of there.
Yeah.
And then so I got that off my board edge.
Nice.
So I got 7 VPs for that.
It's not easy to do that. I don't think.
It is if no one tries to stop you.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which is
And you're not
basically,
dwarves.
I mean, it's basically what happened in there. Like,
Yeah.
he wasn't on. He had absolutely no thoughts about defending his. I think he thought he was going to get through the woes quicker than he did.
Yeah.
But like, there's 16 blowpipes there. You're running into a hail of fire. I'm going to get 2 rounds of shooting on you because you only moved 6 inches. So I'm getting at least 2 rounds of shooting into you. Got a couple of Urukai kills in there. And then I just charged down the hill into them and gave him like a wave and then a wave and then a wave of woes to cut through. And I mean, they died every turn. Like, my wave just got ruined.
But it's slowing him down, isn't it?
It's slowed him down and he's nowhere near the thing. He had Crevane that kept, like, he had a Crevane flying around. I hate Crevane, they're so good.
Yeah.
That lost his combats like every turn. It just kept rolling 1s in combat. I was like, this is fine.
Yeah.
And his Wild Riders, like, were dealing with some of my spare riders that I brought in, ones that came in the back. He was like using his Wild Riders to do that. So, yeah, it's fairly. Right, and the game just wouldn't end. That was my problem because he managed to pick like we were at broken, so we were rolling for 1s and 2s, and he hadn't even picked up the relic. He hadn't got to the relic yet. I still had like Garn and his last little ditch of guys defending it, and then we had like 4 or 5 turns of it carrying on, and eventually his Crabane has got the relic and he's trying to fly it back to his half, and then the game ended. So he only got 3 for having that, but he like broke me. He hadn't won my leader because I was going to chuck Fairley and start killing some Urukai, and I was like, that gets me nothing. Let's chuck Fairley behind the building. So his crossbows can't shoot him.
Yeah.
And that's where he stayed for the entire game.
Chilling.
He did march, hide. He got hit once with a crossbow, made your old a 6 to hit, a 6 to go through the inner way, a 6 with a horse and rider, a 6 to wound. It was insane. And then I was like, bang, here's a fate. Saved it, so Fairley was fine. So yeah, 7-6 that ended up being, because he'd broken me, and I wasn't broken, and he wasn't broken, and he moved the relic, but I got the relic off the side.
Yeah.
So I said, like, you've got to do a little bit of defending on that. I think you can't just let me have free reign. But yeah, he did.
Which is what I also forgot to do.
So Lee,
nice little segue going into there.
Yeah, I'm 2-2 now,
Yeah.
so I'm okay, and I've got an exactly 0 VP difference.
Yeah, you have. That's good.
Like today might as well not happened.
Yeah. Well, you start again fresh tomorrow, right?
Yeah, right. So yeah, go.
I can't remember the name. That's really bad.
Because you got moved, didn't you? You went to a different one. And then
that kind of led into what happened to the game. So yeah, I initially got paired into another dwarf list, an anthill list. And so my game plan before looking at that mission was like, well, I'm just going to castle in my own half. Not going to care about his flag. Just run down the time. If I get a draw, I get a draw. Because it's dwarfs, it's hard.
Yeah.
So that was my game plan. So that's what I was going to do. And then we got repaired, and this really nice guy, and we kind of just started having a giggle, talking about the channel and things, and I had a regular giggle. Completely forgot what I was doing because we were having such a laugh.
Yeah.
And then I deployed everything on the line right in the middle. Didn't leave nothing back. And then he was cheeky, and we had a right good giggle about that. So he like cheekily hid an Urukai on like the corner of a building behind it, so I couldn't see it. And like he said afterwards, like he placed it down and like gave me the eyes as he was doing it. Like, do you see? Do you see? And I totally missed it. So like, we had the drum. So we had the Urukai Legendary Legion, I think, where they're like all orders.
Scouts?
Yeah, I think so.
Scouts, but they all move 8 inches.
Yeah,
plus you get chuck a drum in there.
Drum, so he was moving 14 inches. That's only did the drum, I think it was. I think it was 14. 8 plus 3 plus 3.
For marching as
marching
well.
as well.
Yeah, marching and drums. Yeah, I was going to say it should be 11 and then you have marches later.
So he just yeeted that guy all the way around, and I'm like, wow. I've lost. I can't get my relic back now because I was deployed so far forward. So I had to then go forwards, which then put me like I had to yeet lads forwards.
It's really funny, isn't it, Lee? Because we played the other day with your dwarfs, didn't we?
We did.
And we played a like fairly similar mission.
We did.
And what did we say afterwards about what you should do with your dwarf list?
Sit back in the corner.
You should definitely defend your relic.
Yeah.
Because like
Don't worry about theirs.
don't worry about theirs. Break them. Move on.
Move
your
on.
life.
Yeah.
Like if you can sneak a couple of guys out and go for it, fine.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, just stop them getting yours.
And he's not going to break me in that time.
No, you're so tanky. You can sit there, you can shield.
And if he comes at me, then the whole list comes at me. That's fine. Straight up fight in the ball with a nice log line. I think I win that.
You've got at the very end of the day, you've got Thor and that captain.
Yeah.
Who could just sit on that relic and go, you know what, mate? None of you are touching us.
Yeah. And that is what I should have done. But
I tried to do that with Garnbury Garn, and that did not work because he's defence 4.
But yeah, I forgot, and we just had a bit of a giggle, and I forgot. So at that point, I had to put pressure on, go forwards, just try and break him. So like the relic holder ran away, which he did eventually. So but he moved the relic, because that was crucial.
Yeah, so you get 1 point.
Yeah. So I think it's 3 points.
No, it's 1.
If you move it, I think it's 3.
No, it's 1.
Oh, well, we did that wrong.
If you move it, it's 1. If you're carrying it at the end of the game, it's 3.
Oh.
If you're carrying it in their board half, it's 5. And if you take it off the board edge, it's 7.
Oh, yeah, we did that wrong.
Should you have won that game, Lee?
That means I should have won that game.
Okay, cool.
I might message the bloke tomorrow on it. That's a bit late now. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
We'll send him a text. It's fine.
That's fine, but that's bad. But yeah, so I had to put the pressure on.
Yeah.
And then to break him, and then just try and get Thor onto the objective, and he did. And I caught him out, and Thor combated onto the objective, and the game ended on the first dice roll on a 1. He rolled it, and it ended. 1 more turn, and it would have been a draw, or I would have won by more points.
Yeah. So you should be on 3 and 1. It turns out.
I should be, yeah.
But we'll. I mean, you've both put your slips in.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Yeah. Read the mission carefully and see how many VPs you get, because I am like 99% sure you get 1 if you pick it up and then drop it.
Yeah.
And like you've moved it.
Yeah.
Then it like the wording's really funny because like you get 1 if you've moved it, you get 3 if you've retrieved it.
Right.
But retrieve, it says earlier on.
Fine.
Retrieve is definitely like you've got to be carrying it.
Right.
And then 5 is it's in your board half, and 7 is off your board edge.
Right.
So yeah.
Fair enough.
Just so you know.
Yeah, so I lost that game. So we were 2-2. But first Lord of the Tournament ever for me. I've only ever played Scott and you and like local lads. I only wanted 1 win really from this weekend. Ended up taking 2 fairly big scalps.
You got 2, yeah.
I'll take it.
I've got 2 though. Because you said at the start, like, your aim coming into this was to get 1.
Yeah.
Like, get a win.
Get a win. Just don't get smashed every single game.
And learn stuff.
And learn stuff. Yeah, like, I was chuffed I got Aleister King first round.
Yeah.
The dwarf player.
Right.
Just gonna take as much knowledge from him as I can. King. Yeah, well, I'm a dwarf player, aren't I? Just try and learn from him, right?
Yeah. If anyone doesn't know, he is currently, like, #1 in the GBHL as well. But, you know. And Lee beat him, so therefore Lee's the best player in the world.
I mean, he's such a scrub, right?
It's funny because he's going to watch this.
I know he is.
And then, yeah, I'm 2-2 as well. I was saying, like, I want 3. I want at least 3 wins. Was like, because I want to be, like, in the middle somewhere. Anything more than that's a bonus. I always say that when it comes to events. Like, if I can get somewhere near, like, 50-50, I'm kind of happy. Yeah. Other thing we haven't mentioned that this tournament's doing, because... well, it's normally doing it into West, because it's meant to be into West. It's not. It's just pushed into West back because of that like big C word. They've got the secret missions that we're doing during the mission as well. So everyone's got like you pick 3 cards out of this little envelope. Have a little look through to pick 3 that you want to do this mission. Put them face down. Your opponent like chooses one. That's the one you've got to do, and you've got to try and achieve that like during the game. So some of them are like you have to pass every single in the way roll for shooting. You have to successfully cast every single magic power you do. You have to have your hero, like your highest hero that's not your general, die. And things like that. There's all kinds of fun stuff on there. Some of them are like good things, some of them are bad things, some of them are just like bit random.
Bit banner.
Yeah, so like this one which is like your monster's got like hurl stuff around or something.
Yeah.
But I might as well just throw it in the bin. But you know, so I've only got 1 of them so far. I had the magic one on that game where my shaman failed to cast Fury, so that was a double kick in the teeth. Because it basically lost me the game and lost me the thing.
Yeah.
Because each one of each you get is worth a tournament point as well. So you'll get 5 for a win, plus 1 tournament point for winning for doing that.
Yeah.
And there's a prize at the end for getting the most of them. So I was like, I really wanted to do them. That was like my little aim coming into the thing. I've only done 1. What did I even do? Oh, I had to trap a multi-win model and score a wound on it.
Ah, nice.
So I did that in that 3rd game where I had like all my woes just surrounded Iron Skin, just like beating him up. I scored it in there, so that was good.
I think I got 2. The last one I remember was Thor. Was my chosen hero to not lose a single fight.
Yes.
And he only fought twice that whole game.
I'm saving that one for a fair then fun trip out.
Yeah. And then the other one, I can't remember what it was. I honestly can't remember, but I did it.
Good job. Was it the one? You know what it wasn't? Getting next to board edge.
Oh yeah, yeah. I read it like, you've got to get like more models than your opponent within 6 inches of your opponent's board edge, and that mission it was like 24-inch deployment. So I was like, I just need to get him in his board half. Oh, I've got more. Like that's how it works. No, his board edge. So like the edge of his board. So I'm like confident. It was like, yeah, I did it. And I'm like, no, you didn't. Like, oh yeah, that's the thing.
Bless.
But yeah.
Right. I think we should probably wrap this up around now because it's probably been really long. I don't know.
Probably.
And we will chat to everyone tomorrow after the 3 games end and see what we're doing. So yeah, we're both 2-2.
You know we're playing each other around 1.
Well, I'm on 0 VP differential.
I'm not far off.
And you're not far off. So yeah, we could be.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of guys on 2 and 2.
Yeah, there will be.
It's one of them. There's an awful lot of people who, like all the the notorious big names. They've all had a couple of losses. Most of them have been Lee's fault. Because Lee's just too good.
Taking scalps.
So yeah, they've all got everyone I talk to has got at least one loss and stuff like that. Like I don't know, there must be some people who are.
There must be, but I haven't
chilling out 4-0. I know that there was a list of the Helm Hammerhand Legendary Legion that was doing really well, but I think it lost one of the last game.
Right.
Or like someone came out and said, yeah, she just lost a game or something like. So I don't know how it's going on for a lot of people, but yeah, there must be some people chilling out 4-0, but we don't know who. No. So if you are, big up yourself. Yeah. But yeah, it's a really interesting event because it's one of the first really big ones back since Rhodies. It's there's a lot of dudes there, a lot of players, a lot of serious players here. Yeah. Which is quite fun. Really good learning from people and playing other people and stuff. Yeah. Which is honestly my favourite thing about events anyway.
It's mine. Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, and you'll see from our faces how it's going. Bye.
Oh man, Toad's checking that.
Right guys, so as you can probably tell, I'm now back from Cardiff, back at home. Lee is not here, dropped me off at home. He's going away with his wife and kids on holiday pretty much as soon as we got back. So he sent me I've got a long message down here from him with all his notes about his games and stuff. And I'm going to read off his bits and my bits. But before we get into day 2, just a quick note about day 1. While we were going through Lee's game 4, I pointed out to him that he definitely won that game on VPs. They just counted that wrong. It's a hard was it game 4? I don't know. The retrieval scenario. It's worded slightly funky, so it's you get 1 VP if you've moved the relic, but you get 3 VPs if you've retrieved it. And then in the special rules on the scenario, it says you get 3 VPs. Retrieving it counts as having it in your possession. Whereas you should look at the word retrieve and you go, I've picked up and taken it, kind of. So, fortunately, the chap who it was Sean Lang, he's a nice guy, was known to most of the guys there, and when I messaged Matt, who we kind of vaguely know who's the TO, said you'll find this really funny, Lee did this. He was super kind and messaged Sean, was like, did you know you're a game, this happened, we're not asking you to change it, just so for next time with VPs and stuff. Then he was like, no, change it, take my one away. Super nice guy, and everyone was like, yeah, I mean, nothing in the game changed, it's just they just failed at counting VPs basically. So it meant Lee's now 3-1 off the back of game day 1, and I'm still down at 2 and 2. So yeah. So going into day 2, the first scenario was Clash by Moonlight. Lee had Clash by Moonlight. It's way up here. His first game was against was against Mordor with Kardush, Shagrat, and Goroth. He's called him Big Hammer Lad. I think that's Goroth. Who I believe this guy was my game 7, Joshua. Basically, according to Lee, he Shagrat was just murdering all of Lee's dwarfs. But he cleaned through all the troops because this guy he only had a few Warg Riders and then just loads of he had a wall of just random and Mordor rocks. But when you pay him for the points for Shagrat, Goroth, and Kardush, you don't get an awful lot of dudes anyway. I can't remember exactly how many it was, but it wasn't loads. Only Iron Hill Dwarfs who kind of made light work of him. So the throwing axes did bits, which was quite good. So he got a decent win, broke him and hadn't lost any of his heroes. So yeah, pretty good going. I came up against an Iron Hills Airball list, very similar to Lee's, using 4 as well. Lee uses he doesn't ally in Airball. He allies in Airball, not Iron Hills. So he's got Airball warriors, but this guy had Iron Hills warriors, which yeah, also good. And then the captain on Goat, which again, like Lee was thinking about doing but didn't. But it meant he also had crossbows. So to start with, we kind of ran around. I was using my Warg list, throwing spears and stuff at him, but obviously like I'm only hitting on 6s because I'm moving. Nothing was really landing. I got one good volley where I was standing still, killed a couple of dwarfs. So I started throwing a couple of guys in, trying to like pull him round the buildings and stuff on the board, and trying to like get him to basically trying to like move him around a bit, make him react. Hopefully, if he didn't react, I was going to get some trap. Like I was going to be able to have guys on all the flanks and just like crush in on one go. Was the aim, but he was just quite happy to just bring his entire warband over this way, because he was calling marches and stuff. So when he called a march, I was like, I'm going to swing some stuff around the side, and then he kind of has to like semi-stick together. And yeah, he just brought all his dudes over that way, and then brought all his dudes back over this way, and there wasn't an awful lot I could do. So I started dismounting some wargs, sending some dudes in, trying to like avoid the break limit. So if you dismount the wargs, any wargs you get are free dudes basically. You can just throw them at him, and then keep the orcs back. They can just sit in the building and shield and stuff and hope to survive longer, but you get longer on your break limit. But yeah, it didn't end up. He caught me, got me broken by like one dude, and 5 minutes left or something. I tried, but there was like just a big woodland in the way and couldn't get around it. So I ended up losing that game as well. So at that point, I was in a little bit of trouble because then I'm 2 and 3 at that point, and he's 4 and 1. But don't tell me. Yeah, and then in the second game, was take and hold. So you got the 5 objectives in like a diamond shape. You flip it over to your side at the end phase if you've got base contact with it. It's like a centre line deployment. Basically, I was playing against a nice guy called Owen. He was using Minas Tirith. He was fairly new to the game, he said. Hadn't really faced like an all mounted list because I was using my Wargs for this one again because Wargs against Minas Tirith. And this was really the Warg's day to shine. We deployed right up on the centre line, super aggressive. He backed off because he wanted to use his range of shooting and things like that. He had a warrior Minas Tirith wall with a whole bunch of rangers of Madril and that behind him, trying to get loads of shots in. Unfortunately for him, not many of his shots landed, and then the Wargs hit him. We had a lot of fun. He had Faramir and Ingold and Madril. Ingold is someone I really like. He's quite fun. Faramir on foot. And I asked him, why is he not on a horse, basically, because you always see Faramir horse, heavy armor, shield, lance, kind of in that thing, and he was like, well, that's the model, so yeah, fair enough. But still, Faramir's fight 5 and can strike, and obviously none of the heroes in this Warg list have strike, and they're all fight 4. So the biggest downside of this Warg list, as I found out throughout the weekend. But Shaku gets his 3 hero combats, so what we're doing was basically just threw a whole load of Wargs at him, like pushed him right back. So I had the 3 across the middle, and then the one behind me. Pretty much the whole game. He had a Knight and Ministeriff, but I killed him off pretty quickly. Shaku ran down, picked off a Warrior Ministeriff right at the edge of his line. Heroic Combat back into the Knight of Ministeriff. So he got a couple of it. And that's all Shaku did most of the game, was just like jump in, grab a guy, kill him. And he was killing like 1 or 2 dudes a turn and having fun. And then once his line like properly capitulated, Shaku was just like bouncing around the back of the lines, killing 1 or 2 Warriors Ministeriff a turn, and just avoiding Faramir like the plague. And while I just chucked bodies at Faramir and then picked off the Rangers and stuff. Basically, eventually I managed to break through his. He had like 2 halves around a building, and he had a definitely smaller, weaker side with Madril, some Rangers, and only like 4 or 5 Warriors. And then the other side was Faramir, Ingold, and a load of Warriors Ministeriff. So I overloaded with Captain and like loads of Wargs on the Ranger side. Broke through that, stole his objective off him at the back, and then came in the back of Faramir and that was that really. Nice little confidence boosting 12-0, which I kind of needed at that point. I was getting a bit sad. So I'm now 2-3. No, 3-3. 3-3, wrong game, 6 Tom. And Lee hasn't really spoken much about this one. He's just written. He moved out of his little. Yeah, he should have played. Basically saying he should have been much more defensive about it. He had like a little semicircle with like this object, like where does the diamond? He had like the base, the middle, and the right hand side. Had his little flank, and he was saying he should have like stuck there, but he tried to push on for more. And then he got kind of exposed and killed. I think that was against Callum Edens. He hasn't written a name. With Callum's like Harrod, the Hood crossover. I mean, Callum actually came second, I think, on the day, so you know, fair enough person to lose to. And then so Lee is 4-2 going to final game, and I'm 3-3. So I'm kind of hoping for a good result for me, and little party's hoping for like a little bad result for Lee, so I can like we'll be the same. But final game could have been any of the scenario pools we haven't had. Ended up being Assassination, which is always a fun one. I was up against Joshua's model list with Kardush, Shagrat, and Goroth. Oh yeah, I had written Goroth down on here. So I was using my woes list. Theoden, Gunbury Gun. I mean, we get loads of buster killing orcs, and it was the end of the day. And the funny thing about game 7, when you're kind of mid-table, there's always like this awkward thing of like, I mean, you might as well go home. Like, you're not really playing for much other than pride at that point. I had a bit of a bruised ego, so I was playing. So all that happened in our game was basically he came straight. I deployed, knowing that I'd get 2 full turns of blowpipes into him. He came straight at me, as you would. You sent some wargs around the side, but yeah, most of his forces came straight at me. Shagrat died, I think, turn 2 to blowpipes. He failed all 3 of his fate rolls in 1 turn. That was pretty grim. You don't really know what to say in that situation either, but yeah, he failed. Like, he just rolled awfully. Yeah, Shagrat, turn 2, gone. I know, used a might point to save a fate. But other than that, yeah, he just got peppered by blowpipes. And then we moved on to, what was the finish that? We moved on to blowpipe and Goroth, because, you know, I'm terrified of Shagrat. I've seen what he can do. Goroth, equally terrifying. So blowpipes into Goroth as well. Got him down pretty quickly. And eventually he came in, and then I got him so I could get Garn and Theoden on the charge with a heroic strike. Garn's obviously my assassin because I couldn't get him. Goroth was my target because I needed to kill him basically, otherwise I'd lose the game. So I was like, I might as well make him worth VPs as well. So Garn had already wounded him with a blowpipe, and then yeah, Theoden came in, struck up, so I had to high fight, and then yeah, got him dead. But I let Garn get the killing blow on that as well. So my assassin got the max points. And then Carducci just kept throwing fireballs out and being a general pain. Eventually got dragged down in that one. So like, Garn called a heroic combat in that turn. So we were striking Theoden, and then we went off into Carducci as well and finished him off as well. And then it was just a massacre, man. The Woes in there with their +1 to wound and rerolling ones. Fantastic. Absolute goes there. In fact, every game we played against Orcs guys, so I played Played it 4 times, that list. It was 3-1. The only loss it had was against Harrod game 1. Which is, obviously I don't get the bonuses against Harrod. And also it was Contest of Champions. Suladan is just better than Theoden. There's not an awful lot I could do about it. So like I tried to hide all my squishy woes on that one, like I said earlier. But Suladan got up into the rocks and killed him. I thought I'd like hold him back, but no. And he played it really smartly, like popping all the dudes out from Theoden, so I couldn't get him. Only giving him 1 dude charge and stuff. So yeah, not really much I could do about that. But the other 3 games that I used that list, it were all, I don't know, it was 2 12-0s and then like a big win in retrieval. So yeah, pretty effective. Love the Wozers. Probably going to use them again. Not sold on the Wargs. Probably not going to use them again. There's just lack of Fight 4 Max. They're fun for like a casual game, but you come to a tournament, everyone's bringing some form of Fight 4, striking heroes. Like they're just things you've got to include in your list really, and not bringing any of them really hurts. You know, like having your heroes lose roll-offs to standard dudes is painful, especially when it's your leader. And then yeah, basically that was that. Would have been different if I got like a softer target on Maelstrom, so I could actually use all their Maelstrom things, but Army of the Dead hurt them a lot. Side note on the Woes list, they've got their heroic move roller, so on a 3+. I called 7 heroic moves with them throughout the tournament, failed every single one. So even on a 3+, 7 failed every single one. Someone tell me the maths on that in the comments, because it felt bad. Lee's game 7 was playing against the Hobbit he already played, because in game 7 it's just like anything goes. He was playing against them, against Assassination obviously. So he had his Erebor captain. Farmer Mangot was the other guy's assassin. He got they killed, like Lee's captain died from Farmer Maggot, so he knew that his opponent had got like max VPs from the assassin, but then got quite complacent. So Lee broke him, killed his leader, and racked up a couple of points, and ended up winning 10-7. Basically, don't think the game's automatically won, because I was a bit complacent in retrieval because I thought I'd already won when I got my relic off the board, and I wasn't really like defending mine too much, and then I nearly lost it right at the end. So yeah, but yeah, that's how that went. I asked you like who his MVP and that was. Right, and then we had a couple of quick thoughts about our like tournament MVPs, things like that. So for me, it's definitely just like the Woes in general. That unit were fantastic. The games when it worked, it really worked. Basically, the +1 to wound rerolling ones, blowpipes. They didn't get the +1 to wound because that's only in combats and stuff. But still, like 16 blowpipes, one which has might, fantastic. Like you're guaranteed to hit, and then you're just rolling dice and hoping for the 5s and 6s. 6s mostly, but yeah. Lee said Fraw, just because of banner effect, and then just being impossible to kill basically the Arkenstone. So yeah, that was that. I think because we're going to Interwest again, which is the same guys, just a month's time, just with a lot more people, basically. I think it's double the size. Probably going to keep my Woes list, maybe change it up a little bit. There's a few things I want to switch out, some of my like rider ratios and things like that. Not an awful lot you can actually do with it. You have to have Phaelin, you have to have Garner 15 Woes, so it's just those 10 riders I had. So put some Royal Guard in and things like that. And then for Lee, I know he wants to take Good and Evil next time, just because he said he got a bit bored of like the dwarfs at the end of the tournament and stuff. Especially doing the same thing again with the same list would be a little bit long for him. So he's got a load of Rohan that he loves, and think about Dale maybe, and then he's trying to work out an evil army, and he doesn't actually own any evil armies, so it's probably going to be one of mine. But yeah, I'm probably going to go back to some of my tried and tested evil armies, so either like Goblin Town or Harrod, who I played with for ages. Throw some Hood in there maybe. maybe Azog's Hunters, not sure yet. We'll have a little look. But yeah, that's that. Let us know if you enjoy these kind of videos. I know it's a little bit waffly. We've done it like a much longer form. I know some guys were doing Callum on his channel, Hedge Knight Wargaming, was doing like a real quick couple of minutes after each game, just a quick summary. But we thought this way we'd get like a whole full breakdown. You can stick it on and listen to it in the car or whatever if you want. Like, you'd have to look at it. But yeah, we just thought it'd be interesting. Let us know if you care or don't. You know, that's fine, because if no one wants to watch it, we won't do it again. But if you do, we'll do it for Into the West and any other tournaments coming up. I've got, hopefully, we can get some sorted for the War in Reading, and then the London GT maybe. Basically anything that's like an 80-100 pointer, we're trying to get there. So we'll see you guys there, and if you do see us at tournaments, don't be afraid to come up and talk to us. Like, we're nice people. It's a shame that like Wales are still in COVID mode. Hopefully by Into the West things will set down even more, and we can kind of get out to the pub with you guys in the evening and have a good chat. But yeah, that's that. We'll see you guys later on in the week for hopefully another battle report. But yeah, otherwise, see ya.